So the whole goal, obviously, around the work in general we do, the platform from TDA, is to make conversations about money more approachable. And the way that we work with our clients is to look in the culture around the brand. So obviously there's culture at large, which are cultural moments in the world, right? Could be a sports moment, could be a cultural music moment, but we also look at the culture on a brand, and obviously TDA is money. So at the beginning of the year, we're like, before the beginning of the end of last year, we're like, okay, in the culture of money, what is the most trending topic is blockchain, right? So how do we take this term of blockchain, which has so much kind of, confusion of true understanding, from an investment point of view, it's really hard to really give proper investment advice because of the fluctuation of the currency itself. So how do we do something that makes it more approachable and create conversation with our consumers? So the team came along with the idea of, first we thought about, okay, do we do like an educational series, right, to obviously create, some sort of value to our customers, but again, to speak about blockchain with any sort of, knowledge that would be helpful right now is because of the volatility would be a challenge. So the team came along with this idea, Jay and Pete, who have a lot of experience with blockchain, that you can actually basically they call it like the memo space, the kind of memo area on any kind of transaction. You can, at that time, now it's actually more, you could do 80 characters. That is, they did this piece of ASCII art, which is art made of multiple characters, almost like a mosaic, of putting our flag in the blockchain. So it kind of, I think, the idea of, and I think this was like a fun kind of way to kind of give some education around how blockchain actually works, the idea of transactions, the idea of this memo, and then, to kind of create something creative and cool, and having, TDA have a stake in the conversation at large. I think a big thing for me is understanding, the process of creativity and the people behind creativity is what I do. So I think, as a CCO, I'm very process oriented. I really, I think our if you really look at what we do, there's incomes and outcomes, right? So the outcome of creativity, I actually focus more on the income to get to the outcome, right? So what that is how I, my personal process of how I can continuously, generate and come up with ideas and unique perspectives into brands, right? So how do I have a unique perspective? I have to stay fresh. I have to stay, I wouldn't always say ahead of what's going on, but kind of be in tune with the constant changing of media, of creativity, of formats, of social channels, of the competitive landscape around my brands all at once. So to do that, it's not about, obviously it's about, constantly following certain, media outlets and kind of staying close to what is being done. But at the same time, it's what I do to get there and stay fresh. So, I have this philosophy called conscious creativity. I have 3 simple buckets. I think there's more than 3, but I like things in 3s. So one is, first and foremost, I do believe in meditation. You know what I mean? I think that I don't prescribe a certain type of meditation, but I believe in this world, even outside of being creative, but more important, being a creative, where you have to kind of come fresh with this new perspective every time you have a meeting, and to have also empathy with the consumer and the people you work with, having time, being able to sit by yourself for 20 minutes or a half hour a day at least is super important. Second one is analog, like logging off. I believe in paper books and listening to albums. We're actually also having a little, with Brian from Advertising Age, we're having a little DJ session with vinyl. I do believe in listening. There is a power to listening to non-digital music, right? And the holding of a record, and so, analog, logging off, taking time away. And the last one is just, I have to be honest, just green vegetables. Green vegetables, it's physically proven to the pineal gland and your third, it's to help to kind of, which is the cradle of creativity, is actually help to physically make you more aware and more succinct. There's actually a story that like Picasso himself, actually his doctor prescribed spinach, to mix spinach in with his meals. Obviously a lot of people ask why, since I came in Havas, I guess it's been 9 months ago, I didn't do the standard ping pong table or getting a huge big screen and getting an Xbox. My philosophy is it's work-life integration. So I think that I can't speak for all over the world, but in New York, work is the core of your life, and in advertising it's more, right? So my thing is to integrate what you need to be more creative into your daily life, right? So when I talk, I always talk about the power of green vegetables and having healthy organic vegetables, right? Maybe Saturday mornings you're tired, you don't want to make it to farmer's market at Union Square. I brought the farmer's market in-house, right? Meditation, taking time alone to breathe. If you think that I'm going to work all day and then at 6:30, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, whenever I finish my work, then I'm going to take time for myself and digest the day ahead of me and then start your whole day has been over. So make a place where you can take 15 minutes by yourself, take a nap, just quiet, absorb what's been happening during your day. So integrated there is very important. And the third, like I said, it's like, my library says analog room, finding a place where it's not about, all day we're staring at screens at the center of every conference, screens at the center of in our hands. Like, we're a place where it's like the focus is more about, some books to inspire you, to listen to some records. I have a variety of different records, from jazz to experimental music to hip hop, just throwing a record on, watching it spin, hearing that kind of analog sound to just kind of like reset your mind. So you can, again, to have a unique perspective on work, you need to do things uniquely. And that's my whole philosophy. This interview has been, the whole reason I fly to Cannes is to have an interview with you.